So recently, I came across an interesting little video by a channel called Hardleg. When Teenagers Run Virtual Democracies. In this hour-long deep dive, he goes over several virtual governments created on Reddit, Discord, Habbo Hotel, all of which suffered some kind of catastrophic failure. It's a great video, really interesting stuff. I'd recommend checking it out if you have the time, link down in the description. But as I was watching it, there was only one thought on my mind. I could make a better government than that. It started off as just a thought experiment. You know, how would I write a constitution that was stable and effective? What kind of rules would my virtual democracy have? And how would I avoid stepping on all the rakes that those teenagers foolishly stepped on? After pondering it for a while, I realized not only was this kind of fun, but I was in the perfect position to put my theories into practice. You see, I've been running a Discord server for about 6 years now. It's a cozy little place based around my YouTube content, which currently has about 500 members, most of whom just lurk. I mean, it's a nice server overall, don't get me wrong, very friendly to newcomers, but it's not exciting, and not very well managed, if I'm being perfectly honest. Because I am not a very social person. I've never been part of a Discord server before this, so when I made one for the fans of my YouTube channel, it was about as bare bones as it could possibly be. And it's evolved a little since then, and it certainly gets the job done. There's people who like it, but there's a reason that most people just lurk. It's a boring place where not much happens. So why not change that? Why not spice things up a little bit by turning my Discord into a democracy? Rather than have an introvert like me manage a social network, the community will manage itself. They'll elect senators who will decide democratically what boards we have, what roles we use, what rules we live by, and also organize community activities like Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments or a book club? Do people like book clubs? Look, I don't know what people like. As I said, I'm not very good at this whole community thing. But that's why I'm passing it off to others. Because I know there are people on my Discord who are good at that sort of thing. And this seems like a fantastic way to give those people the power to make my Discord server great. And you know, even if they fail, the election will be fun, right? I mean, it's not every day you get to run for office in a virtual government. Should be an exciting new activity to try out, regardless of if it ends up working or not. Speaking of which, let's talk about how I plan to keep my fledgling democracy from descending into authoritarianism or chaos. Watching the Hardleg video, my big takeaway is that simulated democracies fail for 3 main reasons. One is lack of stakes. If you're just running a government for the sake of role-playing or as a thought experiment, then laws are essentially meaningless. They aren't governing a community, they just exist for the sake of existing. And the only fun thing you can do in that situation is try to break the government. And when people inevitably attempt that, the only punishment that the government has is banning them, which can easily be evaded by just making a new account. Now, failure point number 2 is fraud. Since you can make as many Discord and Reddit accounts as you want, there's nothing to stop someone from taking over a democracy with dozens of sock puppets. A dedicated user with a bunch of alternate accounts and a whole lot of time can easily swing votes in their favor and turn the system into a dictatorship. The failure point number 3 is a bad constitution. I mean, that should be obvious. If you give politicians too much power, or don't include a robust system of checks and balances, then corruption and authoritarianism are almost guaranteed with time. Now, of all 3 problems, that third one is probably the trickiest to solve. But that also means it's the most fun to solve. Can I write a foolproof constitution? I don't know. Probably not, but I like a good challenge, and I'm curious to see how well I can do. I mean, people have been trying to do this for hundreds of years. Why not toss my hat into the ring? It's a pretty good hat. iconic, if nothing else. As for the first 2 points, those I think will be mostly solved by the fact that my Discord is not open to the public. It's tied to my Patreon. So not only does the government exist to serve a specific purpose, to make things fun and interesting for the members of my Patreon community, but if you want in on that, it'll cost you $1 a month, which is not a high barrier to entry, but the stakes are high enough that I don't think people will pay just to try to troll the election. Oh, and also I'm writing into the Constitution that you have to be on the server for at least 3 months to vote and 6 months to run for office. So if you wanted to try some election fraud, it's going to take more than $1 and several months of planning. Oh, and just so you know, the first election is planned to happen 2 months from now. So if you're not already a member of the Patreon while you're watching this video, you'll have to wait until next year to even try. But I digress. The point is, almost everything about this project will hinge on how well written my Discord's constitution is. And if you're curious to see what I can cook up in that regard, good news, because I've already written it. Or at least a beta version of it. You see, just like a real constitution, this document isn't official until it's ratified. And ratified? We get some sunglasses on there? Hell yeah. There is no government without the consent of the governed. So before I put this mad plan into action, I want to give my patrons a chance to look over it and offer any changes or suggestions they may have. I'll update it based on feedback, and 1 week from now, on March 1st, 2025, I'll hold a vote on my Discord. A simple yes or no to approve the Constitution. If I can get at least 10% of the server to vote, and 60% of those votes say yes, then the Discord Democracy project will be officially underway. And if not, well, you know, at least we got one video out of it. I had a little fun making this, you know, I still got to write some stuff. Anyway, if you want to check out the beta constitution, there's a link in the description to a Google Doc with everything I've written. If you're already a patron, there's also a board on the Discord specifically about this project, where you can post your feedback and suggestions. If you're not yet on the Patreon, but you'd like to join, there's a link to that in the description as well. Just $1 gets you on the Discord, though, like I said earlier, actual participation in the democratic process is locked behind a waiting period, so, you know, only join if you really like my channel and you're in this for the long haul. It's also worth noting I'll be doing a special politics/government stream this Tuesday on Twitch, where we can discuss this project live, and you can ask any burning questions you may have about constitutional theory. That should be interesting. Anyway, that's all I had to say. Thank you for watching, and as always, until next time, good luck and have fun. And also, there should be some things to click on here. Maybe subscribe if you're not subscribed. I'd appreciate it. It's always nice, making me smile.